It's a new year, my friends, and a start of a new season of my podcast, Explore and Engage with Anam. A Biden administration official recently said that the world is experiencing a very large shift in migration trends affecting the entire hemisphere. Now, simply saying this does not highlight the main problem that we are facing as a country, and that is illegal immigration. That's the problem we are facing, illegal immigration. My friends, let me give you a more clear picture of what's going on. The world, over many decades, has been going through large shift in migration. People from many countries are moving to other countries all over the world. Look at Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, North America, Australia. Every continent is experiencing the arrival of people from other parts of the world. People move for education, for business, and people move because they just want to explore the world and settle down in a different country. Social media, obviously, has made it very easy for people to explore new cultures, to learn about different traditions, to find out how to migrate to a different country and how to settle down. Migration is not a bad thing. It's good. As people migrate, they share knowledge and skills, and there is exchange of information that takes place. So migration is a good thing. And the United States of America is a land of immigrants. The problem is not immigration. Let me repeat. Immigration is not the problem. The problem is that the southern border of the United States is wide open, which is why we are experiencing record levels of illegal immigration. The problem is illegal immigration. That's the key word you have to remember if you want to understand the problem. Illegal. That's the key word, illegal. Illegal immigration is the problem. My friends, I have said this in the past, that immigration is not the problem. Legal immigration is good. Illegal immigration is bad. I have many times highlighted that our country, the United States, grants permanent residency to 1 million people, approximately 1 million people, every year. That's legal immigration. That's what immigration should be. And also, hundreds of thousands of people become naturalized American citizens every year. That's proper immigration, and we welcome that. The problem, once again, is illegal immigration. And since 2021, since President Joe Biden came to power, millions and millions of people have entered the United States illegally. And the border continues to remain open because the Biden administration is not securing it. Now, the crisis has reached a point, it has reached such a point that sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York are trying to come up with rules to try to block the arrival of migrant buses from Texas. Because it's easy to say that a city is a sanctuary city, but in reality, things are much more challenging. So liberal politicians in New York and in Chicago, they said that New York City and Chicago are sanctuary cities, but now that undocumented immigrants are showing up, buses after buses after buses after buses, now those same liberal politicians are trying to come up with ways to stop the arrival of migrant buses from Texas. So a Biden administration official can talk about the global migration patterns, but the administration cannot hide from the fact that illegal immigration is hurting our country. And the crisis that we face is the result of the Biden administration's open border policy. My friends, in the new year, I visited Chicago. It's just a few hours drive away from Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin is where I live, and Illinois is the neighboring state. and Chicago is in Illinois. Chicago is a beautiful city. I've said this before. It's a beautiful city, but when you look at the political environment, when you look at the economic environment in Chicago, the picture is not very beautiful. In fact, taxpayers are being crushed under the weight of illegal immigration. Millions of dollars are being spent on illegal immigrants in Chicago, while many Americans are helpless. Let me ask you a question. What is the first word that comes to mind when you think about Chicago? I think there are many words come to mind when you think about Chicago. The words that come to my mind when I think about Chicago are tourism, diversity, skyscraper. There are many beautiful buildings in Chicago, skyscrapers. And another word that comes to mind is business, because the city has so many businesses, big and small. Another word that comes to mind is houses. There are beautiful houses in Chicago. In fact, there are many historic buildings. And I also think about the word lake when I think about Chicago. The beautiful Lake Michigan. Another word that I think about is windy, obviously. Chicago is the windy city. And I also think about the word O'Hare. That's the airport, the international airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. Whether you're visiting Chicago for business or pleasure, you may be arriving in the city by plane and landing at O'Hare. These are all great. These are all great words. But then there are some other words that are not so great that you may be thinking of when you hear the word Chicago. Words such as crime, homelessness, robbery, theft, poverty. Chicago has lots of crime. Many people in Chicago become victims of robbery and theft. Many in Chicago are living in poverty, and there are many Americans in Chicago who are homeless. And now, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Chicago is chaos. I think about the word chaos because there's chaos in Chicago. The city is a sanctuary for undocumented immigrants. Illegal immigration is making it difficult for people to live and thrive in Chicago. The taxpayers in Chicago are having to bear the burden of illegal immigration. There's chaos in the city of Chicago, my friends. When will the chaos end? When will order be restored? I don't know. Chicago needs strong and honest leaders. Leaders who will not make false promises. Leaders who will respect the rule of law. Leaders who will govern in a fiscally responsible way. Leaders who will prioritize the needs of American citizens and legal immigrants. My friends, Chicago is a great city. But not everyone in Chicago is happy. Not everyone is happy. There are many people in Chicago who are suffering. There are the super rich, wealthy, super wealthy people who live in penthouses and mansions, who travel by luxurious vehicles and who have private security. They are living comfortable lives. People who see the glamorous side of the city from their comfortable rooms. But then there are those who walk on the streets of Chicago, those who have no choice but to use public transportation. There are those who count every dollars and cents that they earn, and they still find themselves falling behind because of inflation. There are those living in Chicago who suffer because their vehicles have been stolen. There are those who suffer because they become victims of crimes in the city of Chicago. And there are many people who depend on donations to make ends meet. There are people who rely on food pantries for their meals. There are many people living in Chicago who suffer from disabilities and they still don't get the help that they need. There are many people who find themselves in helpless situations. Many people who are living in poverty. Many people who have health problems and they are not getting the help that they need. My friends, Chicago needs good leaders. People must make informed decisions when they vote to elect leaders in Chicago. Make informed decisions. Choose the right leaders for Chicago. That's all I have to say for today, my friends. Share with me your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. Go to tausifanam.net, send me a message, check out my blog, check out my list of published opinions. Thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast. This is a new season. I hope to publish many more episodes. So thank you for listening. Please stay connected with me. Please get in touch with me. Share with me your thoughts and opinions. And I hope to be back again soon with a new episode. Thank you.